Hi, my name is Stacy Bishop, and this is my presentation for the school board. Why are we here? Well, because the students in our classrooms right now will be in the workforce in only a few years. It's our job as an educational institution to prepare them to be a meaningful part of the workforce and society. The rules of actively participating in society and being meaningful contributors to the nation have changed. Careers, college, and life demand that people be able to not only just navigate the use of technology, but are innovators. It asks that people don't just use technology, but have technology to be useful. I hear it all the time. We have laptops for every kid, or my kid uses the iPad better than I do. But let's look at this comic because it's illustrating exactly what I want to say. Simply having a laptop for every kid does not equal proper technology integration. A kid knowing how to find their favorite YouTube video does not mean that they have the skills to harness that technology to create change. So yes, having the hardware and making sure it works is important, but the process is not complete once that laptop cartwheels into a classroom. In fact, the job's only just beginning. In looking at this district, a needs analysis was conducted. The main standout needs were communication and planning. A survey was done of teachers. Over half had no idea about the policies and procedures governing this district. Less than 20% said they feel prepared to incorporate technology into their teaching. Part of that lack of knowledge is related to the fact that about the same percentage, a little less than 20, say that they have not been instructed on how to use the technology given to them. This goes back to the man standing on the ladders. Simply having the tool isn't useful unless you know how to use it. And when teachers want to learn or have questions, only about 30% knew who to talk to. So let's assume for a second that all the teachers want to learn how to incorporate technology into their teaching and work on behalf of students. I honestly believe that they do. They don't know where to start or who to ask. That's not a shortfall in teaching. That's a shortfall in leadership. With this knowledge, we have so many opportunities. In the plan that I laid out that you have, the professional development happens at all levels. Technology integration does not start and end with teachers. It needs the support of central office, administrators, instructional coaches. A unified, cohesive vision is essential to full integration. There are challenges. Let's start with the lack of a long-term plan. With input from teachers and experts, the district needs a long-term comprehensive plan, and they need to guarantee funding to make sure that plan goes through to fruition. Any technology integration plan at the school level needs to take into account the age of the students and the technology to which the teachers have access. Having state-of-the-art desktop computers with video editing software may be appropriate in a high school classroom, but in kindergarten it just doesn't make sense. Any plan needs to make sure that it's not one size fits all, but it's tailored to the grade level and the ability of students. Included in any district-wide long-term plan should be the accommodation for teachers to learn. The current teacher evaluation system expects perfection, even in new subjects or with new teaching methods. It's essential that administration have high expectations for their teachers, meanwhile supporting them, so that they can learn new things and appropriately implement technology integration in their classrooms. In the many professional developments that were proposed, people learn not only what technology is useful for, but what true technology integration looks like, and that must be supported by instructional coaches, administrators, district personnel, and teachers. Another challenge that was brought up in the needs survey is equity. This questions technologies distributed fairly across the district. If you'll notice here, there's zero green on this chart. Not a single teacher who responded to the survey said that they can agree with the statement, and that should be a huge red flag to district personnel and to you, the school board. It's frustrating to have the same expectations for all teachers in the district when some have greater material and greater support than others. Any long-term sustainable technology integration plan has the same expectations for students coming out of our system, but does not have the same resources available to them. Teachers can be your biggest and strongest advocates for students, but only if they know how. Very few people agreed that they knew how technology was purchased, planned, and distributed across the district. That means that they're not in a position to advocate for student needs. They're not in a position to advocate for their own needs simply because they don't know the process. Having transparency in the planning Purchasing and development opportunities can only help enhance district-wide progress. The International Society for Technology and Education, nicknamed ITSE, creates the standards for integrating technology into classrooms. For administrators, school districts, coaches, their focus is not on what computer to buy, but on how students should be able to learn. They hold conferences and write standards. What's important to you, the school board, is the essential conditions that they set out for success. They're called essential because you can't have any proper integration without them. They list things like empowered stakeholders, knowing what they're talking about, and implementing planning to make sure everyone's on the same page, and that long-term planning can occur and provides equitable access. We just talked about that teachers don't feel like there is equitable access to technology or resources. So this would make sure that everyone is knowledgeable of the technology when they need to be and meet all the needs of the standards to prepare students for the jobs of tomorrow. In the document that you have in front of you, I've laid out a pretty substantial professional development plan. It's addressing everyone in the district, going back through those ITSE conditions and an engaged community and a shared vision, and we're part of them. This district needs to be on board. I realize that there's a lot of apprehension around teaching in a new way or teaching things that you yourself might not be comfortable with. That's all taken into account in this PD planning. Substantial time is spent on both administrators and teachers doing reflection and talking with other people and their peers about what this means and why it's important. The best PD in the world can happen about how to use technology in your classroom, but without the why, it'll quickly be cast aside and deemed unimportant, or just one more thing to do. The administration PD focuses not only on why this is important, but what to look for and how to support teachers as they learn new skills. The district PD focuses on why this is important to students. All the PD levels also involve budgeting. Budgeting is very important. It's great to have a long-term sustainable plan, but it only works if the budgeting sees it through to the end. Technology can open doors you didn't even know were there. It can make the quietest student in the room one of your most amazing contributors. It can take the kid who has something to say about everything and give them a platform that's not distracting. It can meet your special education students where they are, and it can be a robust language support for those learning English. But most importantly, it can take the potential that resides in every single student, in every single classroom in this district, harness it, and help release it into the world in a meaningful way. With the internet, a student in Southeast DC has the same access to resources as a student in the richest school in the world. But without proper professional development, integration, and planning, they'll never learn to use these tools. Thank you.